welcome in, everybody, one and all. Yes, it is time for the next episode of Three Guys Before the Game. Despite incredibly cold temperatures, and thanks to the husky dogs that brought us in on sleds to do the show today, we are in studio and ready to roll. This is Three Guys Before the Game. Episode title is Blowed Up Cyclones.
What?
Blowed up Cyclones.
Blowed them up.
Yeah, just lined up and blowed them up. Now, if you're a first-time listener, you might accuse us of not being able to use the Queen's English properly, but if you know, you know.
Right.
Blowed up Cyclones. We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about the encounter with the Wildcats of Arizona State coming up late Tuesday evening. Arizona's already been here. Arizona State comes in, but each time one of these schools from like really far away come in, I have to pause and I have to reset. Like, okay, this is a league game. It's not November. It's not December. This is not non-conference. It's January league play.
You think it's weird. What do you think they think?
Like, where are we?
They've gone to the
7
Great Alaska.
degrees.
They've gone to the Great Alaska Shootout all of a sudden. They weren't expecting that.
I'm sure.
Exactly.
I'm sure that the Arizona Staters are having a wonderful time. They were in Cincinnati on Saturday. They came right over here after the game was over. They've been sitting in Morgantown with this delicious weather over the last couple of days. Probably feel right at home. Say, why weren't we in this league before this?
No, they're miserable.
Three guys.
Losing streak.
Yeah, well. Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business System, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Gomart, get a Gomart Rewards card. Immediately begin saving on your food and fuel. Go to Gomart.com for details or download the Gomart app. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start every day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit. And by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. All righty. Let's jump in here, put this thing into perspective. If you are, and chances are you are, a longtime Mountaineer fan, if you're engaging with us, but we do have some newcomers as well. A couple of things just off the top of my head. I saw a longtime Mountaineer in the Kroger yesterday morning. Got in early, knew it was going to snow. I said, okay, I know what I'm doing. I got my plan. Went in there about 7 o'clock.
Wow.
I mean, perfect. But it already started snowing. Anyway, got in, got out. We ran into a Mountaineer fan, and we were talking about the game a little bit, produce aisle. And by the way, hell of a special on blood oranges in there right now.
Really?
Yeah, really good. Sweet, good, really good. Anyway, I said, I don't think that newcomers to Mountaineer fandom, that includes new fans that may have moved here in the last couple of years, or athletic administrators who have come in here in the last few years, I don't think they fully can wrap their arms around and embrace what Saturday was and a few other things that have already happened this season. Gonzaga, you know what I'm saying? I don't think they fully understand it, because how many times has Mountaineer Nation, right, had its appetite whetted with the possibility of what could be? And on Saturday, could you have scripted any more of a game of significance honoring the greatest Mountaineer basketball player ever, and then bringing in, by chance, the number 2 rated team? That was not West Virginia picking that date. That was the date that the West family could make it, just with all the different people coming in from different places. So, I mean, that could have been anybody, but it was Iowa State. And then to have that performance, I don't think fully appreciate, because, Hoppy, we've been to the altar before. We have been to the altar before, only to have your dream smushed like a bug.
Obvious observations. I was looking for the right word, and some of the words that came to mind, guys, were convergence, unification, synchronicity. When all the pieces come together, just like you talked about, Tony, honoring Jerry West. I was thinking about West too, as not only like a great WVU and pro basketball player, but you think of the entirety of his career, one of the great sports figures in the nation's history. I mean, he's up there when you consider the body of his work. He's up there with Jordan and Ali and people like that. I mean, he is because of the body of his work. So, and to play the number 2 team in the country, the way the game went, the crowd, West family there, a great convergence that you don't get very often. Very rarely do you get that. And that's one of the reasons, too, that we keep coming back as fans. Because as fans of any team, you have disappointment. Mountaineer Nation knows about disappointment. But every now and then, something happens. And to be a part of it, like those fans were Saturday, they were an important part of that game.
Oh, you think?
And to be a part of it and to make a difference in what happened on that day made it I don't think it's a stretch to say it was an historic day in Mountaineer sports history.
No question. Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
All-timer day in the Coliseum. I mean, it's right up in the all-time great days. For what you said, Hoppy, all the stuff surrounding the Jerry West honoring of Jerry West was awesome, right? Just awesome. All of the new gear that was out, the new uniforms that came out, it was awesome.
We immediately went to the swag.
Yeah, because I love seeing that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That makes it more of an event. That was a special event with all of that stuff that was out. Hop, I use this as my number 3 key to the game on Saturday. You ready?
Yeah.
I said, how about a little Coliseum magic?
Yeah.
Iowa State likes to talk about Hilton magic. Well, there's a little WVU Coliseum magic,
Absolutely.
too. We've seen that. So I said, it's an emotional, special day today here in one of the toughest places to play in all of college basketball. We've seen days like this over the years when the crowd not only has an impact, but it becomes the difference in the game.
Yes, there it was.
Came through. Now, the team has to do its part and give the crowd reasons to come through, and I thought they did, and we'll get into some of those reasons coming up, and the way those guys played right from the very beginning. Again, I've said this about every one of West Virginia's top 10 wins, which are now 3, by the way. 3 on the season. We're only in mid-January. I've said this each time. It wasn't fluky.
No.
That was grown man's basketball right there, Tony. That was an NCAA tournament type of game. I watched a lot of games before and after ours this weekend. That was about as good of a game as I've seen when every possession matters. That wasn't like first 10 minutes kind of feel each other out. That was a heavyweight fight throwing punches right from the very beginning, and every single one of those possessions mattered. I thought it was just a wonderful game. So to come through on that day to beat that team number 2 in the country, oh, by the way, with a coach that grew up an hour and 45 minutes from the campus of the team that he's about to knock off and really put another exclamation point on what he has done, Darren has done for this particular program, one of the all-time days in the Coliseum, I thought.
And as you said, Brad, the way the game was played, great defense by both teams, but particularly by West Virginia holding Iowa State to 20 points fewer than they normally score. And, Tony, I'm sure when you guys were calling the game where every possession just felt monumental. And the crowd and what the crowd was doing. Eduardo Andres said after the game, you don't get tired because you're feeding off of the crowd. So that tells you that it made a difference. And also, the defensive effort by West Virginia and the fact that the way Small finished in that game was just a performance for the ages as to how the game finished, with him scoring 12 of his 27 points in the last few minutes. And that dunk, I didn't know he could dunk.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he can get up.
My gosh. Oh, yeah. He was about 4.5 feet off the floor.
Yeah. That
was amazing. So just so many things came together for that game.
And as longtime Mountaineer fans know, oftentimes when you go into seasons where your expectations are high, and nationally people think you're going to do really well, right? We've had those, only not to achieve those expectations. These kinds of seasons, when you have zero expectation, when you're picked 13 in a 16-team league, I look back to the John Beilein start, same type of a deal, right? He was starting from scratch at that time because you're playing with young guys, no transfer portal. These guys were like freshmen, and they go out there and they just keep doing this and this and this. These types of seasons in my opinion, are much more enjoyable than the ones where you know you're going to be good. Because when you know you're going to be good, you always feel the pressure that we're supposed to win.
It's relief when you win.
Exactly. It's not enjoyment, it's relief. But these kinds of games, when you're like, you got no shot. Computer says this, percentage says this. No, you can't win here. You can't win there. You've never won at Allen Fieldhouse. You're not going to win. You're not going to win here. And when you go get these are the ones that put a permanent chip on your memory bank that you just will never forget. I talked to a guy this morning who brought his kids to the game, and he said, those are the ones when those kids are 50 years old that they're going to be sitting around, with the retirees, Brad, over in that corner at coffee shop or something like that, like he does. They're going to be going like, I'm going to tell you something, 2024. Or 2045, I guess. Iowa State came in there. I don't know. They were 1 or 2, right? You get kind of,
You get that.
Javon Small, 47 points, right? He's going to give it it was one of the greatest games ever. Because people still today talk about West Virginia's win over UNLV like it happened 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right? And it was 83. So.
And people will say, even if there are greater games, it'll be, well, it's nothing like the 2025 game.
Yeah. And to Javon Small.
To
Javon Small. And there's a couple of texts, I think.
27 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals.
Correct. So a couple of people are asking, where does he rank as far as all-time performances among guards? Okay. Man, I think you need to spend time on this. You need to break this down. You need to put your candidates in there. But I know this is recency bias. But off the top of my head, what he's doing, I haven't seen in 40 years. I have not consistently seen a Mountaineer guard do what he is doing.
He is at this point in the Player of the Year conversation nationally. Now, there'll be some brand bias and some other guys look at votes. What he has done to put this team on his back after losing Tucker DeVries, that's the thing, guys. You lost a first-team All-Big 12 performer. Right? A potential NBA pro in Tucker. And we just went, okay, let's just keep winning games. That's what's remarkable. The amount of game that he has the ball in his hands with high-level top 10 defenses, knowing he's looking for his shot and unable to stop him. He continues, Tony, I think I've mentioned this every game he's played. Somebody falls down trying to guard him every game. His highlight reel plays every game. He has been unguardable against every great defense that's come his way.
Brad, there were multiple shots, but it was late in the game, and he split 2 defenders and went up and hung in the air and made a shot because that was late in the game. But also that Coach DeVries has done a really good job, or did a really good job in this last game, of trying to get him rest. Because he's playing. I looked up and he still played, I think, 38 minutes in that game. But
36.
He
got 4 minutes off instead of 2.
Yeah. But it looked like he got a little more rest the way he worked him through timeouts and those kinds of things, Tony.
He stole one.
Well, other than the last 2, he's been doing that up to this point. The last 2 prior to this, he just didn't and couldn't. But this one, normally he likes to try and rest him around that 12-minute mark, about 12 and a half, get him down for a few seconds. Then you go into the longer TV timeout and you try and get him. But the amount of things that he is asked to do on a nightly basis and then delivers and performs and can score in any way you want, right? Can make the 3, can pull up for the mid-range, can hit a floater, can go to the basket, hang and get fouled, as you saw against Iowa State after West Virginia loosened that defense up. Then it made the lane drivable. But then his ability to pass as well as score. That's the other part of his game. He has been simply unguardable here through what is the toughest part of West Virginia's schedule against multiple really good teams.
And drawing
Remarkable.
And drawing double teams. And fighting through double teams.
Here's the other thing, guys, that just continues to impress me, maybe more so than the raw numbers of individual performances or the raw number of showy wins that this team has had. For this staff and for Darren in particular, to take this group that had not played together, had come from all different kinds of programs, and have them playing the way, not just playing well, but playing the way in which Darren's going to want to play moving forward. Yeah. I mean, we always talk about how you got to establish your culture. You got to get your culture set. If you don't get the culture set right away, the culture is set right away for guys that had no idea what the culture meant, except for Tucker. coming in here, and a little bit of Joe Yesufu because he'd seen it with Darren. For these guys to be playing like they did at this level, and I give a lot of credit to the players. I mean, it's not just the coaching staff doing this. The guys buying in and playing at this level and playing their butts off and being willing to guard in a way in which a lot of them have never been asked to guard in their whole career, and they've just done it and executed it. That's probably the most miraculous thing about this program right now.
I think what he did was he wanted to install his culture. He wanted to install his belief system. But the difference that I see is he was not one of those guys that was going to come in and say, hey, gradually we want to reach up to this peak. Like, he was just like, no, we're going to do it now. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care who I'm inheriting. I don't care if I've got shortcomings here. We're going to start it today, and I'd like to have it in by the time the season starts. So in other words, hey, we're going to grow into this thing. There was no grow into this thing. He makes no, I mean, obviously he makes zero excuses. You lose Tucker, and he says, like, no, we're just going to keep on playing. You lose KJ Tanner for a game, out. Hansberry, no, so that's fine. We just keep going.
And the fans have instantly warmed to this team because A, the wins, and B, how they play. Because they play in a way that Mountaineer fans enjoy. I mean, really, really hard. Brad, there probably is a stat somewhere of how many times they fought through a screen Saturday. I mean, it was just time after time after time.
It's what they do.
They just busted through.
Just what they do. Remarkable. I'm refreshing here because the latest poll should be out any minute. I'm anxiously awaiting that top 15, maybe top 10 ranking that West Virginia is due.
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen, Brad.
Excuse me?
It's not. You're not going to go from not ranked to 10 or 15.
Why? People not watching?
No, they don't.
You don't think they know?
ESPN Plus, they're not seeing it.
No, they don't.
The last two games have been on ESPN Plus, they haven't seen it.
They don't watch it.
They don't know what's happening?
Mm-mm.
No.
We're not worried about how you're actually performing?
Nope.
That doesn't get you ranked?
No.
They don't.
Because can I give you a couple numbers?
Sure.
Now I'm not a voter. Not a voter. I don't know how you become a voter. I don't know who's voting. I don't know who they are. But here's what I would say. You ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
Top 10 wins this season. Programs around college basketball. Alabama has 3. Kentucky has 3. They lead the country. You know who's tied with them? West Virginia. There's 3 teams that have 3 top 10 wins. West Virginia's one of them. How about top 25 wins? Is that what you just asked me?
Yes.
You asked me about top 25 wins?
Top 25 wins.
Alabama has 6. Auburn has 6. Kentucky has 5. You know who's next?
Who?
A&M and West Virginia with 4. Yeah. So there's 3 teams right now that have more top 25 wins. There's no teams that have more top 10 wins. And you're telling me this isn't a top 15 team?
I'm just saying that they're probably not going to go from unranked to that high. I'm not saying they don't deserve
So I should pay
it.
attention to these rankings when that's the case?
No.
The losses so far for West Virginia. Now I'll flip over to the Ken Palm rankings. 33 Pittsburgh, 16 Arizona, 3 Houston, 29 Louisville. You haven't lost to anybody below 33rd in the Ken Palm rankings, and you've got all of those wins. This is a very balanced and deep resume. For this team to not be ranked right now is criminal. For it not to be ranked in the 15 is absolutely a joke. There, I said it.
Glad you're coming. He's getting spirited.
He is.
Tell you what, he's as hot as it cold as outside.
Yeah,
3 teams with more top 25 wins at this point. Yeah. I assume that real nebulous net formula that nobody knows what goes into it.
Not helping?
Nah, not helping. It's not doing the calculations right.
Well, you know what we need to do? You start calling some people. We're going to start calling some people up. And when I call, ladies and gentlemen, I use my Comax Business Systems phone because they can deliver you 1 to 1,000 lines. They are the single best provider when it comes to business phone systems in the state of West Virginia. Visit them at comaxwv.com. They will come in. They will give you a free look around. They'll discover what it is that you do with your business and who needs to have access and context and all of that. You can buy it from them, rent it from them, lease it from them. Give them a crate of oranges. Probably take that too. Visit comaxwv.com. When it does come time for a new business phone system, it's comaxwv.com.
Hey, Tony, here's part of the problem to what Brad's talking about.
Sure.
Is that, and you guys are concerned about and do a wonderful job on the radio broadcast. The game was on ESPN Plus, okay? And so it has limited viewership, number one. Number two is that at halftime, I think it's a pre-recorded segment. They don't talk about the game. Okay? Yeah. They talked about the nominees for the Wooden Award. By the way,
they talked about Javon Small during that
no,
segment?
and did not talk about Javon Small. I think it was pre-recorded because they never gave the score of the game. Or
it's just pre-recorded.
Yeah. So it's not visible. It's not Brad, I agree with you completely. I'm just trying to make an observation as to why you're just not breaking through because you're not getting the media coverage. If that
Why,
game
Brad?
had been on
Why?
If that game had been on CBS nationally and everybody had seen it, probably changed a few minds. But it wasn't, and nobody saw it.
Okay, all kidding aside, why do you think that's happening?
Here's what I think. I think there's a lot more people looking. You know how much I love the numbers?
Yes.
Right? I think there's a lot more people that have now caught on to advanced analytics, but they almost use them to the exclusion of watching the game. And when you look at West Virginia's numbers, there's some losses, like the loss to Arizona looks worse score-wise than maybe what you thought. The loss to Houston wasn't, if you watch that game, that was not a 16-point game, but it ended up 16 points. Then you go to West Virginia's offense, the way it's playing suppresses some offensive numbers sometimes, right? Pace, style of play, efficiency. And so that lowers you in the computer rankings, which the net takes into account and which KenPom takes into account. So I think it drops West Virginia down. So they're 36th in KenPom right now.
Right.
That is absolutely not commiserate with the winning resume that I just gave you. So this is one of those times. And you know me, I default to the numbers 9 times out of 10, maybe 9.5 times out of 10. I think this is one time when it's with a particular team, it has hurt West Virginia because its numbers haven't kept pace with what it's doing on the floor, wins and losses. We saw this in reverse just a couple of seasons ago, where West Virginia's numbers continued to look really good in KenPom. Right. We kept looking at going, how's West Virginia 16th in the KenPom rankings right now? They've lost 6 of 10. And so that time the numbers were ahead of what the results were on the floor. So all joking aside, if you wanted an explanation as to why, that's certainly not an in-depth explanation, but I think that's what it is. There's a lot of these voters. Listen, Tony, it's hard when you're as in-depth with one team as we are to then watch all of these teams around the country and then have to put a top 25 vote in there. So there's a lot of surface level looking when you fire your votes off, and I understand why that is. But if you haven't watched this West Virginia team, there's no way to appreciate what it's doing.
And there is a program bias that is based on how the poll starts at the beginning of the year. The teams that you're seeing, and you go, "Oh, Michigan's lost a couple games, but they're still Michigan, and they started here." So that happens too.
You're going to have equity that you're going to maintain if you're up there in the beginning. I do think what likely will happen, and probably starts like right now, it started a little bit this weekend, is some of the respected national college basketball writers will start singing West Virginia's song. And when that happens, the others, like trickle-down economy, Hoppy, or is that how they call it? Yeah. Well, anyway, just like, you know what I mean, like a sprinkler. It'll start to come down, and it will hit others, and then others will find, oh, this is Jeff Goodman. Jeff Goodman's saying that. If Pat Forty's saying this, if Mike DeCourcy is saying this, then it becomes real, whether it's fair or not. But that's going to start happening. Darren DeVries is going to start to become more and more requested for national interviews, and as a result of that, the balloon will start to get a little bit bigger for WVU.
And those things, we're in the midst of it now. They sort themselves out by tournament time. Because it's going to be ultimately how you do in the tournament.
They do. And just keep, again, as we always say, keep winning, and these rankings don't matter. But it is, I get where it's frustrating from a fan perspective when you've had this start. And this isn't just, oh, it's a great rebuilding job. This team's fun to watch. It's good. The results are there. I just gave them to you, right? The wins over ranked teams are there. I go back to Kansas for a second, and I'll use the KenPom rankings. They have wins over number 13 in KenPom, Michigan State, and number 1 Duke. Excellent wins. Outside of that, Kansas's next best win, 32 North Carolina and 40 Cincinnati, right? They're ranked 9th in the latest AP poll, not the one that's out today, but last week's.
Wow.
They're ranked 7th in KenPom's ratings. That doesn't match what their resume tells you, right? That's just to name one example. You don't want to get me going on the ACC teams, Tony.
Oh.
I won't get into that.
New rankings are out.
Can I guess?
West Virginia 14th.
I'm going to guess.
Despite its loss in Morgantown, Iowa State falls just one spot to number 3.
It's because they lost to a very good team.
Well, that's when you lose to the number 6 team in the country in West Virginia, then you only drop one spot.
Yeah.
by victory over West Virginia and UCF. Houston up 3-7.
Up 3. Well, you beat a very good West Virginia team at home. You're going to jump way up.
Barely won on the road.
Kansas dropped 3-12.
Kansas could go.
Oh man,
Kansas could go 12.
Am I going to lose my mind?
Yes.
I'm going to lose my mind.
Do I need to shut your mic off?
This is going to be outrageous. Don't tell me West Virginia is not ranked.
You can't look at my monitor.
If West Virginia is still in the others receiving votes category?
West Virginia's ranked
24th.
3.
24th.
They're number 23
Too low.
at 13-4.
No, just go win. Go win. Avoid a flat spot on Tuesday.
Well, Iowa State beat two top 10 teams. They beat Kansas, and they come back and and lose to West Virginia. So,
yeah, that's pretty wild. Coaches, again, you don't know on the coaches poll if the coaches are actually voting. I think if the coaches actually voted, that's why West Virginia was ranked 25th last week. At least you were at least in their poll. If the coaches are actually voting, and you might be wondering what's the coaches poll? I mean, it's their sports information directors oftentimes go like, the SID will either do it himself or herself, or they will go to the coach and say, "Hey, coach, here's my 20. Are you good with this?" And he might say, "Now move this one here, move this one here." So it's a little bit closer.
But hopefully you get a few coaches going, "What's West Virginia? Darren DeVries doing a great job there." Hopefully you get respect. Here's the thing. Besides all the I get it, because you got to turn around and play a game tomorrow, so you don't want to scream about getting not ranked, Hoppy, and then lose. So go take care of your business. Win again tomorrow. Just keep winning. It'll take care of itself. But you're criminally underrated right now.
This is perfect, though, for West Virginia.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, this is classic West Virginia, right? Is. Put the chip on the shoulder. Slap the chip on. Slap the chip. Give them something to go.
Not only did you have a historic, unbelievable moment Saturday, but you're also disrespected, which is everything, which is perfect for West Virginia, right?
And truly, guys, I mean, the AP ranking couldn't mean less.
Right.
It really could not mean less.
Correct. Yeah.
So, all due respect, of course, Hoppy.
All due respect.
Could not mean less. Keep winning.
Where does Palm have West Virginia seated in the tournament? Last I saw was 7th.
He doesn't do that, but
somebody does.
You did add up another 12. Now you're projected 12-8 in this conference, which would be just simply that's Coach of the Year stuff if you win it.
Absolutely.
If you go 12-8.
Absolutely.
Quite frankly, if you're less than 12-8, it's to be considered Coach of the Year stuff.
Did you break down any of the numbers on the Iowa State game?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's do them then.
So I checked the numbers. We'll just go right to the numbers. Here comes the heater.
I bet I know what your number one number is. I know what your top two numbers are.
You think?
Yes.
Ready?
Just hold on to your water there. Let's get to them. This is Spreads on Stats, brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. You know what they do? They provide value beyond numbers. They are a complete service public accounting firm and consultation as well, serving clients throughout the state of West Virginia and beyond. Getting ready this year, they're celebrating 40 years in business. That's awesome. Local firm, experienced local people that get you and you get them. Outsourcing your accounting, they can do that. Outsource your CFO services, done. Hoppy over there at Kirchville Communications. Well, you got a lot of people working on this stuff. He can outsource that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Audit and insurance, tax planning and prep, consulting, advisory. Conley CPA Group. So here we go. Let's dig into the numbers following the Iowa State game. Did you have any moments during the contest when you broke the game down afterward? Do we like, whoa, anything smoke you?
No, because I mean there were a ton of impressive statistics, but I think, guys, all the stuff we talked about going into this game, West Virginia did, and that's why it came out in terms of the win. And I think a couple of the things. Let's start here with one of the things we talked about. Is you had to control Iowa State in transition first and foremost. You keep them from running. They wanted to get out and run, and they make a living off what I'm going to go into second is trapping the ball, creating turnovers, and then pushing it up the floor for baskets. So you had to, first and foremost, let's start there. Let's control out of the traps. And I thought it might help West Virginia to have just played Houston, Hoppy, that wanted to do the same exact thing. They're going to not just hedge the ball screen in the middle of the floor. They're going to jump and try and trap you and get the ball out of Javon Small's hands. So what you try and do there is, we talked about this on Thursday's episode, Handle it. Don't turn it over first and foremost. And against Houston, there were just too many of those. 25 points off those 12 turnovers, live ball turnovers. So handle that. Don't turn it over. Then get the ball out of your hands, and Iowa State's going to hard rotate up and try and cut that next pass off. Stop right there for a second. Iowa State didn't get up and cut that next pass off for a while on Amani Hansberry. And Hansberry was outstanding, guys. That ability to pick and pop, so you set the pick and you turn for a pop and ready to shoot that, he's done that really, really well the last 2 games against Houston and Iowa State. What do you have against Iowa State? 4 threes?
Mm-hmm.
So he does that. That changes West Virginia significantly because now the defense is in stress. What are you going to do? You want double team Javon? Fine, we're going to kick it to Amani. Amani's going to make a 3. So what do you have to do, Hoppy? You got to make an adjustment, right? You either got to back off Javon. Now you're left with Javon one-on-one, which in the second half, that paid dividends. That's where Javon started to get into the lane and attack the rim and put pressure on the rim. Iowa State was in real trouble as soon as Amani started making 3s. That happens right there, and you've got significant problems. So that's number 1. Handle the trap, but then expose the trap and attack them. And even when they roll up on Amani, now you kick it to the third player that they've over-rotated on, and it leaves another person open.
Like Powell.
West Virginia had more points off unguarded catch-and-shoot jumpers than it did off guarded catch-and-shoot jumpers. So it had the ability to get into space and make that work. The transition advantage was absolutely flabbergasting.
Flabbergasting, Hoppy.
Flabbergasting.
Because you had to do, is that even a word?
Yes,
Oh,
it is.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
that's good.
It
So
applies.
2 things happen. You shut them down. That's a top 15 offense in terms of transition points per game, Hop. You came into the game top 12. You were number 12 in defensive transition. I said this after the game, Tony. That's good on good, and West Virginia's good was gooder than Iowa State's good.
It was gooder.
19-2 advantage in fast break points for West Virginia. So that's 2 parts. You totally shut off their fast break and transition game, number 1. And number 2, you needed to run. Darren wanted to come into this one and push in transition as well. Create your own turnovers. Off a defensive rebound, get up the floor and push it before Iowa State had a chance to set up that suffocating defense. Before you had to set up an offense that's only predicated on running good stuff. He wanted to get down the floor and get some easy buckets. A 19-2 fast break advantage against the team that's 15th in the country in transition points, remarkable.
And Brad capitalized, I think the number related to that is the steals.
14 steals. 14 steals against the number 2 team in the country. And that's part of what led, and it's mostly what led to that, to getting those runouts and those turnover problems for Iowa State. The other part of this, we keep talking about how if you give Darren a chance to draw some stuff up, that you're probably going to get a good look. Not only did you get good looks, you executed. Are you ready for this number, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Darren runs good stuff.
West Virginia got 29 of its points, which is 45%. Almost half of its points after timeouts and off of out-of-bounds plays.
Man, that's good stuff.
That's a good number.
45% of its points came off those 2 things. Add in the fast break points, and you're up to 75% of West Virginia's points came off fast breaks after timeouts or out-of-bounds plays.
Can I ask a dumb question related to that?
Wouldn't be the first time.
Thank you. What do we talk about in sports a lot at this level is that, you know, the other team makes mistakes or making mistakes or trying to get everybody to do the right thing. How does he get guys that he just got a few months ago to that often do the right thing?
Good question.
Yes. I've been asking that all weekend. I've been to, I can't tell you how many practices, hundreds of hours of practice. The magic is in just that. The magic is in his ability to get these guys, and again, the guys to buy in and play like Darren and this staff want you to. It's simply remarkable, right? Turnovers are down for you, way up for the other team. You play smart, you play gritty, you play gutty. It's not perfect, but it's remarkable the style in which they're playing and the effort they're giving.
You know what else is a unusual thing and an exception? We've been around this business a long time, all different kinds of sports, right? Talk to coaches all the time. How many times has a coach said to you, I'm going to make you laugh here, about 3 seconds, dumbest player I've ever coached, can't learn, can't run anything, we've been trying to tell him the same thing, right? Never, ever, ever hear that once with these guys. Like coaches always put it on the other guy. I told him, he comes through that screen, and what do? He has a way It might be just with this particular group, but chances are, if you take a look at his history and his winning percentage, which is 73%, he has the ability to teach, and these guys get it. And I've never seen a coach change as much in the course of a game to a game to a game to a game. He's constantly changing what they're doing. So that's why when you see these games, sometimes West Virginia gets off to a good start. It's because they're running things that the other team has not scouted.
They
spent all their preparation, like, okay, this is what they're going to do. They're going to come off here, and then they just completely change it. And they go, like, that's why you'll see guys out of place, and it takes them a while to see what they're doing.
Kansas is a great example of that. Changed what he did. They also spend a great deal of time on the particular matchup, but also putting guys into spots where they can do things well. Right? Sincere Harris, which we got to talk about him defensively, but offensively, he struggled from 3 early. So they didn't just say, well, just keep shooting. Sometimes it'll go in. It'll go in at some point. They put Sincere in different places so that the defense couldn't say, hey, you're only shooting 0% from 3. We're going to sag in the lane and provide an extra helper. Darren says, was that right? Oh, is that right? You're going to take your defense. Here's what we're going to do. And moved Sincere doing totally different things than he had done to make the defense now have to go, well, now we got to guard this guy. And then what happens? Then Sincere gets some open threes, and he starts going from there.
Because if you don't do that, you're basically saying, okay, you can play us 5 against 4.
Sure. And so
if you just keep a guy out there, well, you're not a threat.
He just simply said, you're not going to play us 5 out of 4. We're going to make you guard him. Joe Yesufu, for example. Talk about a guy that has come a long way from where he got here as he's rehabbed from that hip injury and got himself back into not just a playable Big 12 player, but a massive contributor. Basically, he helped win you the game at Colorado.
2 of the last 3 games, he has made monster shots.
People aren't talking about Kansas. He did it against Kansas.
Yeah.
Then against Colorado, and then on Saturday.
The inside of 2 minutes to go, right around 2 minutes to go, he comes in and hits that layup. That was a wow. No one's talking about that. That was a massive bucket.
Had a big 3 as well, but that's not just random. That's running some things in some clear-out situations to get Joe and be able to take advantage of what he can do. You find ways to get Jonathan Powell open. I've already talked about how you get Amani Hansberry open. How about the progress of Eduardo Andre? Mm-hmm. We haven't talked about that enough. From where that kid was in June to how much you're asking him to handle the ball, Hoppy. You're feeding offense through him almost every possession, and his ability to distribute and to get to the basket and block shots. He's one of the top shot blockers in the country defensively. So you're just getting max effort out of all these guys. Toby Okani, they spend a lot of time with Toby on Toby's offense of how to get Toby shots, right? When he's really good at backing somebody down into the lane. Right. How do we get him the ball there? But he can hit an open 3 as he did on Saturday. So they just do a great job of putting guys into spots where they can utilize their skills. It's really can't be more impressed with how they've put that together.
3 guys before the game is brought to us by Gomart. January special.
I was there.
Yeah. How about this one? Get a caffeinated start to 2025. All this month, Gomart Rewards members, right? You got to have the rewards card. You can grab your favorite Starbucks drinks. Double shot, Frappuccino, triple shot. 2 of those for just $7. But wait, that's not all.
Okay.
Registered members get access to even more deals in the app, including 2 for $10 Jack Links and $3.99 Lay's chips. You're not a member? You should be. Sign up today. Get your way through a new year with Gomart savings.
Tony, I was stopped in at a local Gomart to pick up 304, and they did have 304.
Beer of the month, beer of the month, beer of the month.
Took it up to the counter, and the checkout individual there said, hey, what's the deal on this 304? I said, it's a very good beer. He said, I have to give that a try. So I
didn't know about it.
So you're in there selling it?
Yeah.
That's a beer of the month.
Marketing it. And I just.
Did you fill up with gas because they got the 304 thing on the gas pumps?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
That's all January, right? Still got a few days left in that?
We are the beer of the month in the month of January at Gomart. Check it out. Did you have one this weekend, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Tasty?
I ran the snowblower yesterday, did my driveway, did two of my neighbors.
Yeah.
Came in and said, I'm going to have a tall, cool 304.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Tastes pretty good?
Oh.
Refreshing, right?
Yes, refreshing.
That's a good beer.
Yeah, it's a good beer after running that snowblower.
All through January? Beer of the month?
The entire month.
Yeah. Easy to find. 70-some Gomart locations?
Beautiful can.
Yeah. Couple more numbers. Let's go defense for a second. And Hoppy, you said this earlier. This team's winning because of its defense. It has not just been kind of good defensively. It has been absolutely elite. We mentioned the 14 steals. Here's a number for you. Ready for this?
Yes.
Steal personal foul ratio.
Huh?
Might be the first time we've talked about this. Your steal to personal foul ratio. Important to get the steals, but you don't want to foul.
Can't be handsy.
SPF?
The last 5 games, West Virginia's been outstanding in this category. They've averaged 0.5 steals, a half a steal for every foul committed. Okay? I'll put that in context. If the season had ended today and you finished with a half a steal for every foul committed, 0.5 hop, you'd be in the 89th percentile nationally.
Wow.
So pretty good. So that's been a good job by West Virginia the last 5, stealing without fouling. Versus Iowa State, so half a steal per foul got you in the top 11% nationally. Against Iowa State, 1.08 steals per personal foul.
Yeah, really good.
That's really good. The flip side, Iowa State, which came in as a top 5 defense on KenPom. They were top 5, Tony. Their rate was 0.52 steals to personal fouls on the year, basically what West Virginia had been in the last 5 games. So extremely good. Versus West Virginia, 0.25 steals per foul. And that's aided by missing a bunch of foul calls that West Virginia should have gained, but that's neither here nor there.
Well,
Neither here nor there.
The officials let the young men play.
How about that, though? The ability to play that level of defense, that physicality, come up with those steals that lead to the transition points without fouling, remarkable.
Brad, one stat you have not mentioned, and maybe it's because it's too obvious. Iowa State, 1 of 17 three-pointers.
Well, I was just getting there,
Oh, sorry.
but thank you.
Oh, you're right.
Thank you for the lead-in.
That would also require some digging. I'd like to see all-time Coliseum poorest three-point shooting performances. That obviously is right there.
Couple things. West Virginia is now 6th nationally in opponent three-point field goal percentage. Now, there's a lot of people that do deep analytics, advanced analytics, that will tell you that's mostly a number reflective of another team shooting poorly, that there's a lot of luck involved into a team not making threes against you. So, okay, I'll buy that to an extent. I will also say it's a trend with West Virginia. West Virginia's defense helps force teams into missing some threes as well. So 6th nationally in that category. Here's part of why you won as well. Hoppy, you should have taken this for your obvious observation. Threes are worth more than twos.
Very
That was
obvious.
more than twos.
obvious even for me.
West Virginia had 8 more three-pointers made than Iowa State did. You're plus 24 points.
Right.
Iowa State had 11 more 2-point field goals than West Virginia. Normally, you have 11 more field goals than somebody, you're probably winning. But Iowa State, you want to continue to try and pound inside. You want to back people down. You want to go at the rim, and I get why they did. They had a massive size advantage. Have at it. West Virginia countered that by making way more threes than you did. Ball game.
And just some superb under-the-basket defense in the late going. Did not foul, made shots difficult, but they had point-blank shots.
Yeah,
Monty
yeah.
Hansberry had a collection of rebounds late in that game that would have swung the game, certainly to Iowa State's side. They got looks, and West Virginia just fortified itself right around the rim. I'm going to give you a Hansberry number, Brad. You were saying, does his three-point shooting make a difference? Obvious answer, yes. Last 4 games, he is shooting 50% from 3. He's 9 of 18. So to your point, these guys being the coaching staff, when they recruited him from Illinois, this is exactly what they thought he could do. He's an undersized 5. He's really a power forward. They thought, we can bring the other team's big out. He can make shots. And obviously, when that happens, it forces a lot of other things to an opposing defense, and so it'll be really fun to see. I think he'll only get better. He's still a baby. He's a sophomore. And making shots now over these last several games, he's got 20 on the season. His confidence is now going to be peaking. It could be I'm not saying he's going to be Kevin Pittsnoggle, but he's going to be a guy that can really hurt opposing defenses.
Yeah, and it just changes what you do, as I outlined earlier. Now you're in some real stress with what you do with Javon Small. That opens up the penetration. Now you got to collapse. Now you got to kick for a Jonathan Powell or a Joe Yesufu sitting on the wing. A couple other numbers here, and then we'll get moving. Amani's also moved into the top 16% of players nationally in defensive rebounding rate. You mentioned those big ones he had to seal that game. How about that? Top 16%. Offensive rebounding, he's in the top 11% nationally. How about Eduardo Andre? He's got himself in the top, how about this? No, I'm doing math on the fly here.
Oh, he's dangerous.
Top 1% of players in blocked shot rate. He's 9th nationally overall in blocked shot rate.
Will he start playing games with that medal that he was wearing after the game? The chain?
The big thing? I hope so.
That'd be kind of a nice addition. Yeah. Also, off topic, stunningly, uniforms. I don't get into the uniform thing. I stay away from the uniform thing. People become extremely passionate and argumentative over uniforms. I'm just saying this. They need to wear those uniforms more often.
They were good. I mean, I know it was
beautiful
a throwback to the Jerry West era. And
that's a great look. Like I would say, and this is really going to make people mad, like those grays don't do anything for me.
No.
Use those as your alternate,
not a color.
Senator.
I like both.
Tony.
I like the grays. I like that blue a lot. Tony, I'll come back. You'll see him again.
While you're drifting, how about just the fact that, I mean, the fact that ESPN Plus had a pre-recorded halftime, so I missed what they did. I mean, I saw they did a couple cutaways to it, but to have Karen West there and Johnny's brother
Ryan was there, and his other brother, oh, doggone it.
And
I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. Is it Andrew?
But
his son, his brother's son's name's Andrew.
And I saw that the cutaways on TV a number of times showed Karen tearing up. I mean, what a special day that was. And you guys got to be a part of it.
Yeah, it was amazing. And really like the idea by the university to permanently retire 44 across all sports. I think that's really, really good. Yeah, really good.
One other note defensively, we got to mention Sincere Harris, who played extremely well. He was matched up with Keyshawn Gilbert most of the day, held him below his average, held him below his assist total. Iowa State only had 4 assists on 25 made baskets all day. That's a team that's usually about a 50% assist ratio. West Virginia locked that up pretty good. It became basically one-on-one with Jones was their only offense, or throw it down into the low post for those easy shots. There was not a lot of passing and extra passes being made. A lot of that had to do with Buck's defense out front on Gilbert, then switching over to Jones late when you knew Jones was going to want to get a shot up there late. So Sincere continues to take opposing point guards just out of the game plan.
Oh, Jones is a smooth player.
He can score.
He can score.
Oh, he can score it.
He can score it. All 3 levels, as they like to say.
Jerry West's son, Mark. So Mark, Ryan, and Johnny were here, and Mark was joined by his wife, Jennifer, his son, Andrew. I knew there was an Andrew in there. Got to meet Michelle Wee. Johnny,
did you?
Johnny's wife.
Yeah.
She's long. I mean, she's, as you could say, man, you talk about that, yeah, you could just tell, like, wow.
Hit the ball.
Yeah. Got 2 nice little kids. Got the babies and the baby's still a baby.
Well, it was just very nice.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Couldn't have been any better.
By the way, this doesn't mean anything, but I want to give it to you anyway. West, his junior and senior year, he averaged 36 minutes and 27 points. Saturday, Javon played 35 minutes, had 27 points. Just a little nugget, that's all.
Well, here's the other.
Doesn't mean anything. Not correlation, causation.
Here's another wow. So he hasn't played in over 60 years here. Still holds 17 school records.
That's unbelievable.
Played 3 years, no 3-point shot, still the all-time leading scorer.
That's pretty remarkable.
I mean, are you kidding?
Well, averaged 27 points. And like Javon, played 36, 37 minutes a game. Brad didn't get much rest.
Pretty
cool
amazing.
day.
Pretty amazing.
Cool
Pretty
day.
amazing.
Yeah.
You guys ready to do this?
Yeah.
We're not going to do Arizona State preview?
Oh, my bad.
Oh, can I give you an obvious on Arizona State?
Sure.
Arizona State likes to shoot the 3, Brad, correct?
A little bit.
They 37% from 3. Mm-hmm. They shoot a lot of 3s. West Virginia, number 2 in the league on 3-point defense at 28%. Is that a key, Brad? Is that a key? I'm asking you.
A key.
All right. Just asking.
A key. West Virginia's 6th nationally in 3-point percentage, as I said earlier. They don't shoot as much as West Virginia does from 3, but yes, it'll be important. Here's a couple things that jump to me. this is a spot where West Virginia's got to get its mind right quickly. That's the first part. The fact that you're at home helps. 9 o'clock game scares me a little bit. Does that keep the crowd down some? But you've got to get back and be ready to play.
With the cold and the late start, not conducive.
Yeah, right.
There will be a significant difference in that building than there was Saturday coming up here on Tuesday. And so you're right. You've got to be – the staff has really got to juice these guys back up because
these guys have to just be expecting that and ready to play. You got to bring a lot of your own juice in this one. I expect the people that do come will be extremely loud. We've talked about that at football and basketball. I think the people in the building will be really loud, but it won't be jam-packed like it was the other night, so you've got to bring it. This is an Arizona State team, as I mentioned earlier. They've lost 4 in a row. They're on the second leg of a long road swing. They lost to UC Cincinnati back on Saturday. So keep them in the mindset that it's like, oh, I just want to get home.
You're right.
Jump on them. Can you jump early and get going? They have 5 players that average in double figures. Here's where you've got to take advantage of them. Can you get some offense going here? We've talked about how West Virginia's had to win these games on the defensive end. That'll be the hallmark of this team. They'll still have to win it defensively, but you're getting an Arizona State team that's 12th out of 16 in the Big 12 in defensive points per possession. So they're 12th in the Big 12 in offensive points per possession as well. So your defense, can you win that battle, which you win most battles in the Big 12 so far defensively? Can you win it on the offensive end as well? Here's where the defense can step up. Arizona turns it over a lot. They're right around the bottom 100 teams in the country in turnover percentage against a West Virginia defense that's top 20% in terms of teams that force turnovers. So that'll be a big one. Just like Iowa State, can you get some turnovers and get out on the break before Arizona State's length gets a chance to set up?
This is one where, obviously, you got to just get this. Take care of business. Avoid the letdown. This team, as you said, lost 4 in a row. Long road trip. They've been gone forever. The game's not till 9 o'clock at night. They're not going to get home till 6 o'clock in the morning. This one is set up for you to get another win. Not an easy win because nothing in this league is easy. But this you would pencil in as a win, correct?
Yeah, I mean, the computer will, but I'm going to say this. This is going to be harder than it is easier.
I agree.
This will be hard. Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of talent.
These guys are more athletic.
This is an athletic, talented
more
team.
More talented.
If they come in here and are jacked and ready to play, you're in for a hell of a fight. I mean, they've got dudes. I'm going to get into a couple in a minute. They've got dudes. You just need them to still be miserable from 4 losses and on the second leg of a trip. If you can get that mindset, I feel pretty good. But if they decide to play, they've got guys. Here's a couple of other things to watch. They're top 100 nationally in free throw attempt rate. So can you keep that steals to personal foul ratio going, Hoppy? Because you don't want to give them easy points for a team that at times has struggled offensively outside of making threes. Another area to watch. Don't turn it over. We'll say that every game. That's Darren's number one key. But if you do, watch for this because Houston punished you on this. Arizona likes to shoot threes off live ball turnovers. 40% of their shots, when they create a turnover, they'll come down and want to fire a 3. They're making nearly 40% of those. In the last 5 games, Arizona State's making 70% of its threes off a live ball turnover. Ooh. So if you turn it over, somebody better get back and try and force them into 2, not 3. The other part, I'm interested to see how this works out. This hasn't killed West Virginia, but you're getting a team that doesn't necessarily rebound it extremely well on the offensive side. That's unusual for what West Virginia has faced. Arizona State's close to a bottom 100 team when it comes to offensive rebounding rate. Iowa State was a top 60. Houston was a top 15. Arizona was 20th. Oklahoma State was 50th. You've played nothing but teams that really hit the offensive glass hard, and you've held your own. Arizona State hasn't all season. Make sure it stays that way.
Breaking news.
What do you got?
Javon Small named Big 12 Conference Player of the Week.
Again.
Appropriate.
3rd time.
In a massive 16-team league.
Yeah, 3rd time.
Dude's having a year. National Player of the Year votes.
Hunter Dickinson's won it 3 times. He won it in November 11, November 18, won it again December 16. And Javon has now won the award twice in the last 3 weeks when league play started.
I was just going to say, give me some extra bonus points when playing in league play. That's the other thing, guys. Look how West Virginia started this league play. Kansas, Arizona, Houston, Iowa State in its first 6 games.
And how often did we talk about, boy, this is going to be brutal? And it has been brutal, but you've come out of that much better than you would have expected. Maybe not.
You came out of there 4-2.
Would have expected. Oh, I know.
You came out of 4-2 in that stretch.
You can't stub your toe. Here's the thing about this league, man. There's still 14 of these suckers left.
Oh, jeez.
You know, 2 more league games this year. There's 20 of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you look at the results, though, and teams really struggle on the road. I mean, they may get wins. Road's tough.
Road is hard, man. Look at Houston, UCF.
Houston barely got out of there.
They traveled. Houston traveled. Should have called the travel. Don't you agree? Did you see it play?
I'm sorry, what?
Javon Roberts traveled when he scored that go-ahead bucket.
Didn't see it.
Was watching.
I'll tell you another thing you're noticing, with all due respect. 4 more teams in the league. That officiating gets thinner.
Mm-hmm.
Gets thinner. In the past, you would have games like on Saturday where you would have 2 established dudes that you knew, like, okay, we're fine. You can put a third guy in there. He's coming along. That's fine. They'll work him in there and make sure he doesn't screw things up. Now, it's not the case. So
what are you saying?
Not the officiating isn't as good because you've got 16 teams, and on Saturdays, you know, a lot of those officials who work both leagues, you're not necessarily getting the best of the best of the best. You'd be better off playing a Sunday to get a good crew, in my opinion.
Okay.
Or a weird off day, you know, a unique day when not everyone is playing. You got a better chance.
Well, that Sunday game, though, you had 58 fouls.
Yeah, it was fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun. We had the right guys. I mean,
okay. All right.
Yeah, you had the right guys.
Disagree, but
it looked like that both coaches were upset with the officiating Saturday.
Here's how
Saturday.
Here's how I look at it, man. Like, they're going to get some wrong. Totally get it. But at the end of the day, what I want, knowing that at the end of the game, I just need to have a guy or 2 there that I know isn't going to jack the thing up. Now, there's a couple. I tell him before the game starts. So you see that guy right there? I said, you're going to get a couple here, and it might even be late. You're going to go, what? And then there are some guys that you know at the end of the game, even though they may have had a few off during the course of the game, like, he'll take care of you.
My stance on it is this, and it's really hard, and I would not want to do it. So let me give every disclaimer up front. I get it. It is really easy to sit in these chairs and criticize. I get it. I don't mind a missed call here or there either, except when it's late. And I'll probably retract that statement at some point during the year. It's the style changing that gets me. And certain teams are allowed to play a certain way without it being a foul called when you are not. Meaning, if you're going to drive to the basket and someone jumps you and bangs you and prevents you from getting to your spot, if that's not going to be a foul, then it can't be the foul the other way when West Virginia does it. It cannot. So you've got to decide whether you're calling that or not calling it. And when games switch during the game on the style, or when it begins with another team is allowed to do certain things physically that you're not allowed to, that's where I have an issue.
Are you saying it was inconsistent Saturday?
I'm just saying it's been inconsistent in a lot of these games, and just in general, don't be inconsistent. Don't assume because a team plays a certain way that they should be allowed to play that certain way. That's all I'm saying. It's enough on the officiating.
You good? Is that all you have?
I got more, but we're running short on time.
You know, Jonathan Powell growing in front of our eyes.
Yes.
Not playing like a freshman.
Nope.
Stick his face in the fan.
Led the team in minutes played on Saturday.
Yeah, they really worked him to have a big, tough game on Saturday, saying this is going to be for real. He stuck his face in there. Mm-hmm. Super encouraging when you're a young guy and you don't take a step back, but you take a step forward.
Did you see, well, I'm sure you did, you were there, after the game where 3 of the guys, it was Javon and I forget who else, they jumped up on top of them.
Sure, right in front of Brad.
It was standing in front of me.
Yeah. The joy.
That's how it looked from my seat.
Let me see that.
I tweeted it out. So did I see it? I did.
You saw it. You saw it.
In fact, had my hand on Toby's back at one point so he wouldn't fall backwards into me. I did not want to take a charge from Toby.
Just great joy.
Great joy.
Oh, great joy.
Great joy.
It was just great joy. Just great joy. All right, let's do this. This is Textual Healing. It is brought to us by our very own website, episode800.com. That's where you can go in and take a look at all of our merchandise and various stuff. Did you know? I said, did you know that yesterday, the 19th of January, was National Popcorn Day?
I did know that.
Did you know that?
I did know that. Yeah.
Well, now's your chance to order our Valentine Velvet Delight, now available. And that'll be a run. You can get an order in for Valentine's Day. You must order before the 3rd of February. Also, guess what? Big news.
What?
They're going to do another production run of Mountaineer Munch.
Really?
Oh, that is big news.
So successful during the Christmas holiday. People say we want more. So if you've had it, chances are you want to get it again. If you missed it last time, get the Mountaineer Munch. Just get put the two together. Valentine Velvet Delight. We just call that around here VVD. And then the Mountaineer Munch as well. You can order it at episode800.com. Also, might be stepping out here a little bit.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Hearing some rumblings.
Brace
Stepping
yourself.
out a lot.
Gosh.
Hearing some rumblings of a special popcorn with spring coming here in conjunction with baseball.
What?
A baseball flavor for the spring and summer.
Now, you don't know. You absolutely do not know that.
That's coming.
What's it going to be, chewing tobacco?
Steve Saban's and the Mountaineers, they're getting ready to put the ball players out there.
Aren't we going to do a 3 guys tailgate out there?
Oh, yeah. It's all in the mix.
You're just joining right in with him, just doing everything.
Yeah, it's coming.
Probably set a pop-up shop out about center field.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's we got a baseball
Guy's just up
flavor.
here just saying stuff. He's got baseball flavored popcorn. He doesn't even know what that means.
Hot dog?
I just feel good about it. No,
Cheese?
I mean, I'm all for it. I'm not saying I'm not great. I'm just saying you're probably a little over your skis again.
that'd be a first.
Yeah.
How's retirement going?
Fine.
Enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty busy, but I'm finding that some of the daily pressures are slightly relieved.
Awesome.
Able
You think I'd like it?
It just depends. Yeah, this is what I think retirement could be for you or for me or for Brad, and that is just doing the things like this that you want to do.
Yeah.
Not just sitting on the couch, but doing the things that you want to do and fewer of the things that you don't want to do.
Correct. Sure, I get it.
Good way to say that.
From the text line, hey, 3 guys, you have become a can't-miss podcast automatically added to my daily log walking playlist anytime an episode drops. Thanks for the expert analysis and humor. I say that even after Tony called my normal coffee I drink rat piss a couple of weeks ago.
Ouch.
All due respect.
Mountaineer Popcorn wants to keep the sign box. Oh, this is good.
No, we're not going to do.
Here we go. Mountaineer
Are you going to
Popcorn.
retract what you said last week because you clearly had it wrong?
Listen, Mountaineer Popcorn in Martinsburg wants to keep the sign box that the seafood place had their sign mounted in.
Okay.
They've been jumping through hoops for more than 6 months now with still no success. I think the city wants the entire sign replaced rather than the shadow box style sign hollowed out and with a new front mounted. So, Brad, Tony's got the story right, sadly. Fantastic popcorn. Ironically, Krabby Caramel is one of their best flavors. Thank you. I had it right. Free Mountaineer Popcorn. Let them put their damn sign up. Thanks again for your love and dedication to WVU Sports and representing our great state. Give a shout out to my uncle, Dave Sullivan, an accountant out here in Martinsburg, lifelong, diehard Mountaineer fan. Sarah, a former Morgantownian, current Eastern Panhandler. If you know, you know.
Thank you, Sarah. I mean, there's no way the business can't put its own sign on its business.
She said 6 months they've been trying to do this, and they won't let them put the
Well,
sign up.
I don't know what. Again, I think we're dangerously vague on what we know about this.
No, I've talked to lawyers
vague.
involved.
You have?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly, that's true.
Okay.
You were with me, weren't you, Brad?
No,
When
I was not with you.
yeah.
I'll defer to you then.
Yeah. Scopes, we haven't seen you with the mason jar of coffee in a while.
Good point.
Maybe it's been replaced by the infamous Tudor's camouflage mug? Hey, speaking of Tudor's, you guys are always talking about franchising opportunities. What do you think my chances are of getting one out here in Arizona? After all, it is the heart of Big 12 country. Take care. I love the show. Brian in Chandler, Arizona. They'll go out there. They're currently franchising. They have over 70 locations. Well, they have one in Florida.
Do they?
Yeah, there's one in Florida.
So they're open for discussion.
They're open for discussion. Let me tell you something else about Tutors. New promotion, first quarter promotion.
Mm-hmm. What?
You guys are going to like this a ton. Buy one, get one for $1. I said, that's right. Buy one, get one for $1.
I
Folks,
do like that.
you are looking live. To the left, the Dottie. In the middle, the sausage biscuit. And to the right, it's the Peppy. And then the hash brown, of course, bottom. So first quarter through at Tutors, go in, buy one, get one for $1. That, my friends, is what we call America. Tutors Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way. Dear Tony and Brad, you were shown on television during the Iowa State game, and fine-looking Phil certainly outfits you to the nines. John in St. Clairsville.
Thank you, John.
You guys do look nice.
Thank you, Hop.
Got to represent Hoppy. Fine-looking Phil.
I mean, there's no question.
No, you guys look.
There's no question. Phil
really
handles
sharp.
it.
Really sharp.
Phil's got nice stuff, man.
Yeah, he does.
Terrific stuff.
Nice stuff. Scopes, Senator, and
Sweater's
Dean.
from fine looking Phil today.
Is it?
Oh, sure. Well, so's a shirt.
It's nice and warm.
Yeah.
You know,
It's cold today. I thought I had to layer up.
Yeah, good job.
I got a text from Phil Saturday, I think it was. You know, remember Logan from Greenbrier County?
Yeah, we talked to him after the game.
Remember him,
came
Hoppy?
Yeah.
You had your picture made with him when we went down there?
Yeah.
He was over there at Phil's.
Was he?
Getting stuff. Scope, Senator, and Dean Emeritus, why does there seem to be a consistent amount of astonishment of how well the Mountaineers are doing despite having only one returning player on the team? Along with the new staff, isn't the reason this year's team currently sits at 13-4 and 4-2 is because everyone on the team is new?
No.
Let's be honest. It was a great thing Darren wasn't saddled with returners from a team that only won 9 and lost to powerhouses of the likes, with all due respect, of Monmouth and Radford. The success we will see this season is because the new roster Darren put together, including a guy who's playing at National Player of the Year candidate level, is not in spite of it. The success comes not in spite of that. Doug in Winfield. How about this one? Texter says, this is Mike in Myrtle. I broke the seal on this Saturday night at 7:05 p.m. on the deck in Myrtle Beach. I've been saving this for something special. What a great night to be a Mountaineer. Look at that. That's a bottle at 1863. Now that's some very, very high-level stuff right there. Very high level. I think Pat McAfee might have had one of those, Brad, when he came to town for the Rich Rod show.
There's snow on that railing. I have a lot more on mine.
Texter says, my wife and I are watching the Iowa State game. She's reading a book. I tell her, hey, you're missing a good game. She responds, Tony has already said 6 times the Mountaineer players knocked down to the floor and there's no call. She was actually counting. That's true.
It was a rough game.
Texter says, I heard Jerry West's family all got to the Coliseum on a Lou Wendell pontoon boat. You know what? That is crazy. But I'll tell you what. Isn't that amazing?
All the way from...
all the way in from the West Coast.
Mm.
I mean, all the way in from the West Coast.
Probably went through the Panama Canal.
Probably came down and around.
Yeah.
Probably came down and around. You know, folks, it's amazing what I think Rich Rod, when he came back up from Jacksonville State for the press conference, I think he was on it.
Probably.
I think all Mountaineer coaches, when they go recruiting now, they use Lou Wendell pontoon boats. It just, airports are so time-consuming.
Yeah.
You get delays. You get in your Lou Wendell pontoon right there. That's where they leave from.
No security.
That's the port of call right there, Brad. You see that? That's the port of call for Lou Wendell pontoons. And, folks, if you're in the boating world, Lou Wendell is the premier pontoon boat dealer in our state of West Virginia. They've been in business for 50 years.
They have an icebreaker.
Family owned and operated. They do. You can they have an added icebreaker on the front of those. Check them out. They sell the Avalon pontoon boats, which are made right here in the United States, made in Michigan. And then they got those G3 John boats. In a word, they are nice. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Texter says, Ren Baker probably is smiling so big and so nonstop that his face hurts.
I saw he gave a coach a big hug after the game. Big extended hug.
He gave Darren one?
Yeah.
Darren was fired up after the game, Brad.
He was.
He's
pretty excited.
There's a guy who is really, really into the game. Okay. I mean, right,
What
Brad?
does
You're
that
there.
mean?
I mean, every possession, offense, defense, he's completely focused, always like giving you this, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. I mean, he's focused.
Kind of like you. No, and I mean
No,
this.
he makes me look
no.
relaxed.
I mean this in this way. Like, he would never ask his players to do anything that he wouldn't do. And so I think the same thing, kind of thing here, right? When you were at work, like, you would always be like, hey, this is what needs to be done. And we could see you doing it. He leads by example. I want you to play with energy. He's going to give you some energy.
He gives you energy.
Right?
Yeah, he didn't take a possession off either.
No, does
Therefore,
not.
the team does not take a possession off.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad were there. First time in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, first time in.
In from Applington, of course.
Applington. Nice Applington reference. Good for them.
Yeah.
That was not what another little nugget as to how special the day was.
Sure.
Correct.
Like he said. Think about it. Put it in perspective. You grow up, you say it's less than 2 hours, Brad, from Applington to
About an hour 45.
and here's a kid growing up, hearing about him, finally gets a chance. You know, he played him against him once when he was at Drake.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
But this is his first, even up power four, and he gets him.
Yeah. Did you talk to him after yeah, you did, obviously.
Yeah.
How was he?
Fired
I
up.
mean,
He cooled.
he was as fired up as he gets.
He was as most good ones do. He immediately went to. He was excited for the guys. He was impressed how hard they played.
Mm-hmm.
Played their bleep off.
Yeah.
What he said after our interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was fired up.
So I don't think he ever gets giddy. I think he gets content.
I think he was a little giddy right after, at
right
the very
after,
end.
Right
I
at
think
the
he was
very end.
giddy.
But yeah, then it goes away.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Goes away. Yeah. Hey, 3 guys. Dalton from Ridgely. All I can say is Javon freaking Small. This team exceeds expectations constantly. I know majority of West Virginia fans just love hard work by the players. It feels like that culture is coming back. Our loss to Houston we didn't love, but we have continued to see the team efforting. But tonight was awesome. Let's go.
Tony, how was your call on the dunk? But you had a big call on that.
Yeah. Those are pretty easy to do.
It was a good one. His last 30 seconds was really. He won't say that. It was really good.
Was it really
yeah,
good?
It was really good.
That was as exciting as 2 minutes can be in basketball.
Yeah. It was great. The Javon taking over from the 1:39 mark to the 10-second mark, 12 straight points. Tony, I said 10 on Saturday. It was 12 in that stretch, accentuated or punctuated with that dunk.
Oh.
The dunk was nice, but when he just stepped back and shot that 3.
Oh my gosh.
Have you gone back and watched the dunk anymore? You need to go back and watch it. Might be one of my favorite. I'm recently biased. One of my favorite dunks of all time. He hammers it, and it doesn't pull himself up, but pulls himself through, almost like a dismount on the high bars, and he looks like he's 45 feet in the air. He hammers it, swings through, and sticks the landing like that. The part after the dunk is one of the cooler things you'll see. Go back and watch that.
How tall is he?
He's listed 6'3". He's probably 6'2", 6'3"-ish. He's in that range.
He's every bit of 3.
Is he?
I think he's every bit of 3. You know, he's had a couple of really nice leaps this year on dunks. One that he wasn't involved in. Remember Gonzaga?
Unbelievable picture.
Yeah.
Sincere
Well,
Harris
he's
going
up in
in
the
for
air.
the dunk, and he goes up to dunk, and there's a picture from behind. It's a great photo that Javon is up jumping with Sincere. When Sincere goes up to dunk, Javon's jumping with him and might be even higher than Sincere.
What's
was
his?
on the dunk.
I mean, his vertical has to be.
Oh, he can get up.
You can get up some. Remember we met the photographer of that picture,
We did.
Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
We met him the next day. Texter, it's a great day to be a Mountaineer. How this team fights, plays unselfish, tough as nails, D, with short bench, unbelievable. I consider myself a delusional fan, as my expectations seem to always be a touch unrealistic. But I never dreamed we would have wins over Gonzaga, Arizona, Iowa State, and Kansas this early into the season. 13 wins, never considered a possibility, even with a healthy Tucker. Thank you, Coach DeVries, staff, team, for returning the pride. Jesse from the Woodlands, Texas.
Do you realize what you just read? I mean, you can't get over that. Wins over Gonzaga, Arizona, Iowa State, Kansas.
He said this early in the season. Buddy, if you got that in one season, that would be unbelievable.
Yeah, true.
What's up with the Woodlands, Texas? It's
What do
kind
you
of an
mean?
interesting name, isn't it? Like most cities don't have a "the" in front of it. Where do you live? I'm in the Woodlands. Why isn't it just Woodlands, Texas?
I'll research.
I mean, the Woodlands sounds like,
It sounds like a retirement
like a
community.
housing development. Where do you live? I live in the Woodlands. Happy, give me some history on that.
Not checking.
Texter, wow. I've never seen anything like the victory over Iowa State. I got emotional, just like Brad. And I wasn't even there. Amazing. Signed by J.D. from the Southern Coalfields. From Joe in Texas. Hello, three guys. My eyes have almost dried from the tears of joy at beating Iowa State and on the day when my childhood hero was being honored. I was thrilled to hear you guys talk about Darren winning the Midseason Phelan Award, but there is another midseason honor with a ridiculous omission. It's laughable that Javon Small is not on the Wooden Award midseason watch list. Brad, 100% correct that Javon is playing at the level of National Player of the Year. Tony and Brad,
Mm-hmm.
we'll see you in Lubbock in a few weeks. I'll have a Texas treat for you to try.
Oh, very nice.
So Joe's coming to
Thank you, Joe.
Lubbock. Speaking of Sean, he'll be broadcasting the radio national championship tonight. Ohio State against Notre Dame. Texter, listener from episode number 1, first time I've ever texted. Wow. Where does Javon Small's performance rank as the all-time single-game Mountaineer performance in the Coliseum? If he continues at this rate, where could Javon rank as an all-time WVU guard? His performance against the Clones was special.
Amen.
It truly was.
It was.
This is a little confusing,
What's up with that?
but the Woodlands is an area just not far from Houston, and it was originally a timbering area, Woodlands, and then
Yeah.
it became, I think it became almost like a bedroom community for Houston, and it's a special purpose district, district, which has a special designation in Texas government.
Yeah, probably more than I need to know.
Sorry, you asked.
No, it's fine. I'm glad.
Okay.
Doctor, other two guys. We are very likely at West Virginia to have 3 consecutive Hall of Fame basketball coaches. Full-time. With all due respect to Josh Eilert, whom I give so much credit for the impossible situation that he was put into. Has that ever happened in the history of college basketball? Chris from Cape, formerly of Mullen. So what he's saying is John Beilein, Bob Huggins, and he's already got Darren.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Darren penciled in for the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be kind of like, that's a future bet. You know, Darren's got a lot of years coaching left. But yeah, that's possible. I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, very well could happen. Hey, three guys, Craig and Winfield. My comment is about the basketball team and Coach DeVries's impact. The quality of the basketball that we have seen the team rise to in such a short period of time is just remarkable, in my opinion, especially as a non-basketball guy. Watching a West Virginia game over the last several years has not always been enjoyable, win or lose. Even in games we have lost, this team and style of play enjoyable and watchable, to speak. Coach DeVries has clearly earned whatever an appropriate extension for a coach in his first time period at the major level, and that's a huge understatement. Here's hoping that Wren will continue his excellent administration and offer an extension in the earliest and most appropriate time frame. Maybe something else unique that's out of the box that will show him that we want him to be here for the long term. Perhaps free Tudor's biscuits for life, he writes.
If you could get that deal, if you could just do it with Tudor's biscuits, might have to do a little bit more than that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
How
that's
about a little NIL money coming in? That might be more than an extension. He might take an influx of NIL money more than an extension.
I think long term, just, coaches and athletic directors going forward are going to want to be at places where they know they have the opportunity simply to compete. I think you'll lose people when they feel that they are walking up a mountain and they're not having at least, I'm not saying they have to be at the top, just enough so that that it gives me a chance to be competitive. I think that's when you'll lose people. If you, hey, we just can't fund this, we're not, and you're looking at all the other schools on top of you that have it, and you don't have it, that's when you're going to lose people. I think as long as you give them those tools, you'll have retention. Texter, appreciate your show and the effort you all make to keep it going. Look forward to every episode. P.S. Try the Rocket at Tudor's. Very underappreciated, as is the Big Tater Platter. Don't go little tater, go big tater.
Of course not, always big tater.
Nobody sitting here would go little tater.
I don't think I've ever ordered anything small, even off the children's menu. Can somebody take a stab at explaining to me how in the wide world of sports the net ranking is calculated? Apparently this is well beyond rocket science. I am flummoxed. I understand it's too early to get the ulcer over such things, but if the quad 1 wins we've already collected, including now Iowa State, don't make us budge above 30, it isn't clear what it's going to take. Signed by Ken in Ridgely. And you know what he is, Hoppy?
What?
He is a rocket scientist.
Oh, he is?
He is, seriously. He truly is.
I was going to say signed by Brad in Morgantown.
Keeping this one small, short and sweet. Javon Small is the best WVU basketball player since fill in the blank. That's some Devin in the Goshen Road. We know him, right? Do we know Devin in the Goshen Road? Isn't that one of your posse? No?
I don't think.
Okay.
Since what?
Sorry, I'm busy looking at quad 1 wins right now.
Of course you are.
Isn't
West Virginia now with 5 of them.
I mean, what you would have to do to say Javon Small's the best point guard since, so you just start going down, okay, who are the last ones, right? So Deuce got a little bit longer, right? A little bit longer of a tail, but Javon's numbers are better than Deuce's right now. But again, it'll play out.
Well, just that. I mean, see, it's still a long season, still a lot of games. But right now, he's on a heater.
Yeah, he's on bender right now. Jeff from Sandyville. I have been a Mountaineer fan for over 50 years, and this has to be the best coaching job I've ever seen. You and Brad's call of the game makes you feel like you're at the Coliseum. Great job. When are you going to start heading over there, Hop? Can we get you in the building?
Soon.
Last basketball game you were attended.
Oh, gosh.
Did you go when Zach came in? Or you were out of town when Zach came in that time, Drexel?
I wanted to go, and I was out of town.
So what do you think it's been?
Gosh, 15 years. Maybe longer. Maybe 15 years. Maybe 20.
Oh, that's right. You know, Rex hasn't been there about 20, Brad.
Yeah, UCLA.
He's thinking about going.
UCLA last time.
Did he tell you?
Mm-hmm. We talk.
Guy that cuts our hair. Rex.
Do they have a fair weather fan section? That's probably right.
No. Hey, I understand. You know, schedules are tough. Sometimes they conflict.
Pay attention.
I pay attention.
Listen, Mountaineer fans come in all ways. You can be there. That's great. You can listen to the radio broadcast. We appreciate that too.
Or you can
follow.
Or you can watch halftime when they have a pre-recorded segment.
That really, I thought that is.
Michael in Culloden.
That's why you just sync the radio broadcast up to the TV.
Can you do
if
that?
You need to. Yeah, it's easy.
Sure, I did it yesterday on the women's game.
Yeah, super easy.
You can do it on the television?
Well, sure.
I did it
There's
yesterday
new
on the women's
technology,
game.
Hoppy. Yeah, you just
Varsity Network app. Just put it on your phone, listen
Pause
to the game,
it.
and then you just pause it,
Pause
wait.
it, catches up, play, goes right through. It's synced
Oh,
up.
really?
It's perfect. Yeah, it's best of both worlds.
Oh, I'll do that.
I listened to Junior call the game there yesterday. By the way,
Really?
Junior gave me a stat Saturday night after the game.
They won again.
Yeah, they did. But Junior gave me a men's stat.
Rolled them.
He said 7 of Javon Small's 9 field goals against Iowa State came with West Virginia either down by 1 possession or up by 1 possession. So 7 of his 9 field goals came at crucial moments. And Junior picked that one up.
It's good.
Then he came over and picked up his laundry. That 3-pass exchange that ended with a small dunk to seal the game had me standing and fist pumping in my living room. I need those kinds of moments in football again. Hopefully Rich Rod can bring those days back. Michael and Culloden. Rich gave us a coach's clinic after the game was over.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he came over.
What'd you get?
He was very, very impressed with the defense.
That's it.
He said,
likes
and
that
the
kind
phys- and the physicality.
Yeah, he likes
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
I said that was a hard edge, huh? He agreed.
he likes that.
Senator.
Likes those guys busting through screens.
Yeah,
he likes that.
he was a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Senator Tony and Hoppomania. Hello. I had to cut my basketball practice short at George Washington Middle School in Eleanor Saturday to let the boys catch the end of the Iowa State game. As you can see, they enjoyed the outcome. Keep up the amazing work, the assumed mayor of Eleanor. So he did send a little video, and what it was after practice was over, they had a big TV in their gym, and Country Roads was playing, and his entire team grabbed each other arm in arm, and they were swaying back and forth singing Country Roads. It was very cute. Sorry about that, assumed mayor, but the video quality was less than good. Charlie from Midlothian, you guys called a great game yesterday. In case Brad ever decides to return serve based on what you did to him on that last road trip, here's a new one-liner that he can use against you. Lined up, shamed him. Apparently he's referring to when I showed you a picture of you sleeping in the plane, which you took.
Thanks, Charlie. I had forgotten he did that. That's
You
right.
took-
I will
took that
return
rather
serve.
personal.
Yeah, thank you.
I've
Thank you,
shared,
Charlie.
and we may or may not have this picture. Jake, maybe I shared this photo before. Hoppy liked it, but given the events on Saturday, maybe it's appropriate again. I was in the 4th grade, and I received my Biddy basketball certificate from Jerry West at the Charleston YMCA. There he is. I love those pictures, man. So that's Charlie from Midlothian. So West handing him the certificate. Little did Jerry know at that time that Charlie would become one of the all-time great Kroger gas thieves.
Yeah,
Right?
really.
On to a life. Jerry thought he was just going to give a kid an opportunity to play the game of basketball. Instead, he became one of the greatest petroleum ripoff artists ever.
Is that one of the best pictures though ever?
I like those pictures. I love that
Him
whole
with
school
Jerry
stuff.
West.
Yeah, love it. Texter, do you know if the long sleeve warm-up shirts the team wore Saturday are going to be available, or are they team only? I've been to several games, and that was my first with floor seats, and it was a dandy. Let's go Mountaineers.
I think those are retail.
Are they?
I think. Don't hold me to that, but I believe so.
Some of that, a lot of that gear was really, really nice.
Very nice.
Really nice.
That specialty.
The polo
West-
shirts that the student managers were wearing, those were really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And the coaches' quarter zips
I like
that
those
had
a
the
lot.
logo and the
Yeah,
thing.
those
That,
are cool.
that was really nice.
A lot of fans were making investments in that gear. In that
They had a nice day.
44 gear.
My boy Chuck over at the team shop,
Sold out probably.
he probably had a day. What do you think, Brad?
Not probably.
Him and Javon Small were both hot.
They had a day.
Yeah, I think so. All right, last two. Rate my plate. Here we
Hold
go.
on, before you do that, because that kind of transitions that, can I give one shout out?
Please.
So before the game, Jake, our dad,
Oh.
was down on the floor,
Iowa
came up to
guys.
say hello from West Des Moines. So we had a nice conversation, and he had another gentleman with him, and he said to me, John Auer, when we got done, said, hey, you know this guy? So I assumed it was a buddy he brought from Iowa, and I'm thinking, well, John, I don't know everybody from Iowa. I haven't been there a long time.
It's not like West Virginia where you know
lined
everybody.
up about 30-some years, haven't been there. John, appreciate that, though. No, don't know who this is. The guy steps forth and introduces himself, and it was an all-time great introduction. He says, hi, Brad, good to see you again. Eric Munson, Fair Meadows Elementary School.
Get the
Wait
hell
a
out
minute.
of
See
here.
my
Wait a
guy,
minute.
Eric. I should have sent this to Jake. There's a picture of Eric on the side there.
You went to elementary school with him?
together. Yeah, he's friends with John back in West Des Moines. They hang out. John got him to come out to a West Virginia game. He's decked out in WVU gear, so he shows up for this game and gets a win in his first appearance. I said, I
Let me see
hope
this
he'll
guy.
return.
Wait a
So
minute,
what-
you
what
guys
grade?
went. Yeah, you guys were in elementary school together.
Fair Meadows Elementary. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
That's bizarre.
Isn't that wild?
that is wild. Yeah.
So thanks, Eric. Good to see you. Appreciate you
Here's the pencil
coming
I
out.
borrowed
John,
from
thanks
you.
for bringing Eric by.
I'll tell you what's crazy. So, like, you got all these Iowa connections now because, you know, you're from there. Darren's from there. You know of Noby. And I had the same thing when John Beelan was here. He's from my hometown.
Oh, yeah.
So he would bring, literally, they would bring a bus every year, and all of his cronies from up in Lockport would come down at least once a year, and they would just, like, relish in it.
He was from Lockport.
Yeah, we went to, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, go ahead with rate your plate there. Sorry.
Anyway, he's just a teeny bit, but he went to the same high school.
Oh, really?
He went to Catholic high school. I went to public high school. They wouldn't let me in the Catholic. Well, I went 8 years to Catholic school, and then they said, no, that's about enough. You can go over to the public school now.
By the way, Eric verbally committed to be a West Virginia fan for the rest of the season.
Good to have that.
He said his favorite team's given up too many points. He likes the defensive style of the Mountaineers. He verbally committed.
Do you have to do any NIL?
I'm committed to be a WVU fan for the rest of the 24-25 season, he says.
Glad to have him.
Welcome aboard, Eric.
Get on the bandwagon. Here we go. Rate my plate. I've got 2 for this show. This is really good. Smash burgers made on a homemade brioche bun with homemade bacon jam, pimento cheese, and burger sauce from Tim in Vienna.
And
Now, boys, now that is a burger,
and
right? You can almost feel that thing. Very tasty. That's well done. I mean, dude, homemade bacon jam? You ever heard of bacon jam, Hoppy? I haven't.
It might be a little much for me.
I'll tell you what.
huh?
I'm probably out on that.
No!
Fine, I'll take yours.
Yeah, you can have mine.
Here we go.
Take both of them down.
This one's pretty intense too, man. Hey, guys, great win in Morgantown against number 2 Cyclones. My mom is in from Utah, meeting our newborn for the first time. We watched the game. Then I made everyone some steaks. Rate my plate. Here we go. A little surf and turf. Pan-seared New York strip, spaghetti Alfredo, crab balls,
Wow.
and mixed vegetables.
That sounds good.
Thoughts?
Oh,
In.
yeah,
I mean, you got it all right
Steak
there.
looks good.
everything's there.
Well done, well executed.
Crab
I like your
balls
composition on your shot. He goes upper left with the pasta, comes back over with the crab balls. Underneath that, he wedged in those mixed vegetables. Really good. I didn't take any pictures of my plate.
can eat
Yesterday,
that
I spent
fast.
the entire day in the kitchen. Made lamb shoulder.
Excuse me?
You remember the young lady that I bought that lamb from that
Yes.
is a Three Guys
Yeah.
listener?
Yeah.
Well, one of the pieces of the lamb was a lamb shoulder.
Okay.
Did that yesterday with red potatoes that I convection roasted, gave them some crispness. And then I did a massive pan convection roasted broccoli, carrots, and zucchini.
Mm-hmm.
And man,
It's good.
perfect for the day. Cold.
Yeah.
So that was good. Junior came over for that too. So comes, gets his laundry, gets a free meal, then uses takeout boxes and takes them home
Sure
with
he
him.
does. We had a beef vegetable soup that I made.
Good?
Yeah, very good.
I think this retirement will get you into the kitchen a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Yeah, I think you'll like it more. I think more and more you'll like it.
I'm not worried. I'm not in your league.
Just reps. Just do reps. Don't worry about it. Just do reps. It's like anything else. You'll get better. You'll get better. All right, so what do we got? We play Tuesday. We're back Thursday. Does it all work for you guys?
Sure.
I think so.
So we'll recap Arizona State. We'll preview K-State.
Mm-hmm.
Got some important games this week, folks. I'm saying games that maybe aren't going to be on the national, hey, watch this game. But for your team, for West Virginia, these are huge opportunities.
Business.
You cannot stub toe.
Take care of business.
This team has not toe stubbed. Keep it going. And like I said earlier, when you don't expect it, these are the special seasons. Because a year from now, there's going to be high expectations with this team,
Yes.
right? So, that won't be as fun. I'm just telling you right now, this will be more fun. When you start the house from the dirt and you're building the foundation is always more fun than putting all of the detail work in.
Just get the next game.
Might be helped if you come over to the game. They need your support. It's going to be a cold, late day. You got nothing going on. You can sleep till 11 in the morning.
Maybe I will. I got to get. You have tickets?
We'd take care of you. Ren always gets up from the seat that he sits next to Brad. Maybe as soon as you can look down there, as soon as Ren
gets
pulls
up,
out,
I'll
just
take
go in
his
there
seat.
and move his chair. Takes Ren's seat. Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business System, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Gomart. Get a Gomart Rewards card. Go to gomart.com for details. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's Biscuit. And by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. Arizona State, West Virginia, Tuesday. WVU Women head to Arizona. They got the 2 Arizonas this week. They go Arizona State women Wednesday, and then later this week they go Arizona and Tucson.
There's a lot of Arizona references
Very
these days in this league.
And with this weather, the question is, why aren't we there? That would be fun. That would be funner and gooder. All right, we're out. Special thanks to our producer, Dr. Jake. Back on Thursday. Thanks for being with us. 3 guys before the game. See you.